Hello, I'm Honora Nolte, a member of the Our Life Moving Forward Committee. Thank you for joining us today. We're really delighted that you're with us. Our committee, Our Life Moving Forward, has been meeting for 2 years now. And I don't think any of us would argue with the fact that we're in a very different time right now. This pandemic, this worldwide health issue has changed our lives. The new normal is we're sequestered in our homes. We're socially distanced from one another. We don't know what it'll look like when it ends. We don't know when it'll end. And we don't know what learnings we're going to take with us from this experience. But it's also another critical time, besides being a critical time for health issues. It's a critical time in religious life. And we have known this for years. It was for this reason that our leadership team asked a committee from the congregation to be formed, Our Life Moving Forward, together. And so we have been working, we've been doing our due diligence, and then this pandemic hit. And so we said to one another, so what do we do now? We met as a committee on Zoom, I might say, and there was an absolute consensus of everyone that we should move forward, that this is critical, this is urgent. We went around the room and we asked every one of the 15 or so people on the committee, why should we go forward? And so some of their answers will be shared with you in this short Zoom meeting. For me, we need to keep going because this is our life. This isn't just a passing trend. This is our life. This is important. I'm passionate about this. We need to put our work and effort into it. So Margaret and Jenna are going to share with you why the rest of the committee said we should go forward and the plan that we have for doing that. Our hope is that you will get involved, you will read this stuff, you will have your input so that this indeed is a congregational effort and we're just doing the frontline work. So Margaret and Jenna?
Okay, before I share the plan with you, I just want to ask Peggy Warren if she might represent some of the other thinking on the committee about why we should go forward. Peg, when we had that conversation, what stands out in your mind as to why the committee said we need to keep moving?
You know, we have a commitment in our chapter statement that says we're going to collaborate with one another. And I think that this moment when we are sequestered, when we're quiet, when we have more prayer time, what a great opportunity for us to really take a look at the different ways that we might actually go forward with this plan. There are so many aspects and so many things to look at, but our mission, our charism, this has to be preserved. And let's take this time to really do it.
Thanks, Peg. So what is it we're going to do? What's the plan in the coming weeks? Well, the first thing we want to do is share with you all of the ideas that have the suggestions that have come from you in the first round of circles, and then at the assembly, and then at the meeting of some of our guests, which we had on February 1st. It's a substantial list of suggestions, really, that has emerged. We want to share that with you, and we're asking you to take a look at it. We're going to send that out as a link on TPC with this call. It'll give you an opportunity to sort of review where we've been. Again, a series of suggestions. Jenna?
Following that, the following week, we also would like for you to look at a podcast that was done by Jamie Manson, who is a reporter for NCR, a very notable reporter. and she did a whole interview regarding her thoughts and the thoughts of young adults in her age bracket and maybe even a little younger, where their hearts are right now, what it is that they are looking for, and what has kept them back in terms of entering into this church, this institution that we so look at as a guidance for us. So we are going to send that podcast out to you, a link to that podcast. There will also be a transcript, a written transcript that you can download. And we're asking that you take the time to really listen attentively to that podcast and listen to what Jamie has to say as she speaks to other young people, her views on why all of this is happening or where they're at right now in their lives with regard to connecting with the church. We also would ask you to look at, have a notebook or have something with you that you might want to take notes. You might want to write down, what are you feeling about this? What are you thinking right now? And possibly those notes could be shared with others in your community or maybe with a bunch of friends, so you could have a conversation about this. We'd like you to go a little bit deeper into what exactly our committee has put forward.
And we're going to give you really some time with that. So the following week, we won't send anything out so that you have really ample time to delve deeply into the insights that Jamie offers us in that podcast and or article, whichever you're more comfortable with.
After that little hiatus, where you can have some time to really drink in what that article had to say to us, we are going to have a conversation again, a recorded conversation with Jamie, where she will give us a little synopsis of that article. The finer points that you may have picked up, may not have picked up. And then we're going to give her a number of questions that she hopefully will answer within that podcast, that we're hoping will make what she has to say and that article come more alive for you, that you can really get to understand what exactly she's getting at the heart of.
And again, it's a great idea to keep a notebook or journal, whatever you want to as you listen to that conversation. Following that conversation, 2 weeks really in a row, will be 2 additional conversations with some young adults. And we will be asking them the same questions that we asked Jamie in an effort really to clarify what's the context for all of those suggestions that came from the young adults, that came from you? What is it we're understanding about this future that we're trying to move into together? Now, you might wonder why we're focusing just on young adults. Well, that's where we are at this point in the process. As we move forward, we hope to tap into the wisdom of other people. So this just gives you a little bit of a preview of what will be happening, what will be appearing in TPC in the weeks to come.
So, thank you very much for joining us. We as a committee see ourselves, as I said before, as doing the legwork, but we definitely want to keep you informed and engaged. We're interested in your input, which is why we're asking you to keep a notebook or a journal of your thoughts and chat with your friends about it, because it's always better to hear from other people when you're trying to distill your thinking. And some of the things that you're going to be reading about and hearing about will probably be new to you. So Thank you. We're using TCP each week to communicate with you during this very, very critical time. So watch for our little piece and blessing.